Hello. It has been an eventful day. I have been awake since 5:50 a.m. for Wrestle Kingdom 17. What a pay-per-view. We were live earlier on today for 6 hours and I think 20 minutes. One of the longest streams we've ever done on this channel. Sam, you were working. You wanted to come on here, so we're doing this review show. I'm excited to talk about this pay-per-view with you. And if anybody wants to join us, of course, that's great. We've got some stuff to bring up. We've got new champions and we've got some debuts. Some Moné debuts, some money debuts, whatever. Let's get into that and more after a message from one.
This is Broken Matt Hardy. Thank you for watching the Give Me a Whole Year Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah. There we go. We've got an intro from Matt Hardy. So Sam, I obviously watched it this morning. It was great. We had Sasha Banks debut. We had Okada win the championship. We had a couple of title changes actually. Some lovely first encounters for me for certain athletes, which we'll talk about, which I was particularly excited about. You've just watched it. You've actually just finished watching it. So how did you find Wrestle Kingdom 17?
Well, I've got to. I'm not going to tell a lie. I got up early, and I watched you and Dan do the pre-show and stuff like that. I popped in halfway through and said hello.
Yeah.
Then I went to work, which is in my house, just upstairs, and walked the dog, had my tea, and I haven't seen all of Wrestle Kingdom. What I've had to do is prioritize the top matches because I had about 3 hours to get as much in as I could. So I've seen all the big important stuff, but some of the preliminary matches I've not seen, I'm afraid. But I did get your commentary of them earlier. So
yeah.
That.
I
even listened to your commentary in the bath earlier. So
mate. Man, people have told me they've had Give Me a Whole Year on in some very interesting situations. Someone once had it on while they were getting it on. Someone once had Anthony's voice on while they were getting it on. If you can make sense
it was Anthony, wasn't it? It was Anthony listening to Anthony while
it was Anthony listening to it. It was Anthony listening to himself. Yeah, it was. So yeah, and we've had people in the bath. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good. Obviously, we've had a lot of history on this podcast of people getting wet and wild listening to our voices. So maybe Sam, that is a hope. That is my hope for you on in 2023 is that someone gets wet and wild listening to your voice on this podcast.
It may have already happened. I have my suspicions.
Yeah?
I got wet and soapy listening to you and Dan. So there you go.
Well, there you go, man. There you go. Maybe
this got weird fast, didn't
man.
it?
Of course it did. Of course it did. You know, it's not a Give Me a Whole Year podcast unless it's me and you and Anthony getting weird. Talking about Anthony, we are going to have an AEW Dynamite stream in a bit. This is possibly the busiest day I think we've ever had on the podcast.
Yeah, I think it is.
Where we've done stream after stream after stream. So AEW Dynamite tonight. Dan did an unboxing. We have SmackDown on Friday. We've got some other cool stuff coming up on the channel. So it's exciting, man. It's exciting. Sasa, thank you for joining us. Thank you for those that are with us now. Thank you for those that will be with us after this review has finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to run down the card and you can tell me what you've seen. And I will do a quick little rundown of what I thought of it. And if you've seen it, you've seen it. If you haven't, then don't worry about it. We'll go through it, obviously, in the comments. If you've seen it, if you've seen the match we're talking about, tell me about it. Tell me what you thought about it. What did you love about it? What did you hate about it? Etc. This is for you, and this is for us to kind of collect our thoughts. Because I'm still this morning. I was on so much tea. I was wired. I was also super tired. So we're actually going to start with the pre-show because there was some pretty cool stuff. We're going to pretty cool stuff with the pre-show. I'm just going to mention one of the matches. There was the battle royal, the New Japan Rambo, which was good. good. Some interesting, like a Royal Rumble type vibe with a lot of stars that we know from the Bullet Club. But again, very Royal Rumble-esque. So a bunch of different stars piling in, throwing each other out. There was also some pinfalls. It was pinfalls and over the top rope action. But one of the most interesting matches I've seen had a 3-minute time limit. And that was Ryohei Oiwa versus Bolton Oleg, which was the first match that I saw, and I was on a different stream when that was going on. Dan had already started on I was on our original stream for the review, this one, and I set it off starting early. You did that a few weeks ago. When you ended up on a different stream.
Oh,
that's what I did. Yeah. But in my tiredness, I clicked go live. So
where are they all?
Yeah, both me and Dan were live on the channel at the same time, doing Wrestle Kingdom. But so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this one, because the idea of a 3-minute match, Sam.
Saw that one. Yeah.
It's weird, and I've never seen it before. What are your thoughts? Bolton Oleg impressed me again. Obviously an international talent coming into New Japan, to have a 3-minute match. He's obviously travelled to do this. God knows how many hours. And he had a 3-minute match, and it was a great technical showcase for him, particularly against Oiwa, who's obviously has been a part of New Japan before. So what are your thoughts on this? Again, it's this 3-minute exhibition match, and what did you think of it?
Well, believe it or not, which is weird because I know them all normally, but I hadn't heard of either of those two guys, and I know one of them is quite pretty famous. But I kind of liked it. I like this little bite-sized approach. It reminds me of what the NWA Power sometimes do. They might have a match with like a 5-minute time limit, and it kind of raises the stakes sometimes. And I personally think the sweet spot for a match is about 16, 17 minutes. I think that's the sweet spot. But these little bite-sized matches on a pay-per-view pre-show, I could do more of that. I think it allows more talent to shine, gets people who aren't normally on a big card on a big card. And I liked how, what Sassy says, the urgency. They only had 3 minutes to get their stuff in, and my God, did they. I'm open for more of this bite-sized wrestling kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it works in New Japan context. Could you see that on Impact? Could you see it on AEW? Would that work? Would it work anywhere else?
Do you know where I think it might work with AEW is on a show like Elevation. So I've said it before on the podcast. Everyone knows what I think about that. I think there's and they are working on it. They are trying to improve it, not because of what I said, but probably because of what lots of people are saying. But AEW Elevation could benefit from that because they already have these bite-sized matches, but they're always job matches where the most overstar just always goes over, always wins, and it doesn't actually further any storytelling or anyone's career, really. There's a way of doing squash matches, and I don't think that's it. Where I think if I could see like an entire 1 hour long YouTube show for AEW Elevation with just their undercard, where they're doing little things like this, so everybody's getting a moment to shine, build a couple of little stories, I think I'd be game. They need some bigger matches on there too, and some big stars to pop their head in and do stuff like that. But that is where I think this would work. And again, something like, it used to be Heat, didn't it? Now it's WWE main event, somewhere like that. Little bite-sized matches, but where there is some storytelling, where they matter. That's what I'd like to see. Yeah,
I could see like a Shelton Benjamin or a Chad Gable on WWE doing this in a WWE main event setting. I could see numerous AEW stars, in that kind of context. I'd love to see, again, an AEW Dark used for those exhibition matches. Do you know what I mean? So there's some real potential there, particularly for AEW and Impact. I could see, Josh Alexander in a 3-minute exhibition match. I could see.
Oh, he'd kill someone. It'd be great. Snap, snap, snap. Goodbye.
Those bite-sized wrestling. We got a press release through today for Josh Alexander. He's broken the Impact World Championship record, hasn't he, Sam? Talking about Josh Alexander, someone we've interviewed before on this channel, He has 257 days, the longest world title reign in Impact history. Bobby Roode at 256 is second, AJ Styles 211, and Johnny Impact 196 in third. So some interesting facts there for Josh Alexander, one of the greatest champions in Impact history. But we're not here to talk about Impact. We're here to talk about New Japan 17. Wrestle Kingdom 17. So that the pre-show was action packed, as we've just described. Obviously, the main event itself as well. So the main card itself, particularly action packed. The Inoki. So this I actually missed. Dan covered it for me. Did you get to see the Inoki Memorial match, Sam?
Was this the Rumble?
So
no, this wasn't. This was Yuji Kojima.
The one, the one after. Yeah. So I'll put that match on the thing. So we've got the names of everybody in there as well. So there we go. So it was hang on. There we go. So it was the Kojima, Makabe, Nagata. I saw a little bit of this. I was going to make a cup of tea, but obviously Suzuki, from what I heard in my audio while I was making a brew, put on a great show as well. Suzuki was cracking in this. Your thoughts on, again, let's talk about Antonio Inoki. Let's talk about the amount of tributes that were there for Inoki tonight. And obviously this match as a memorial match, some of the greatest stars, Nagata, Kojima, particularly Tiger Mask, of course, coming out, some of them coming out of retirement for this as well.
Yeah. Well, no, it's, again, what can you say about Inoki that hasn't already been said by everybody? He's one of those guys and he had his moments, he had his controversies, but he's also one of these guys who's also universally admired, even by those who, or respected, even by those who didn't like him. So he was a massive force for good, though, I think. New Japan Pro Wrestling was his baby. He started it as a breakaway, of course, from All Japan, and it's eclipsed All Japan. I know All Japan is still incredibly respected itself, but when you think of before AEW came along, the second, and it wasn't TNA, it wasn't Ring of Honor, the second wrestling company in the world was New Japan, and in many ways it still is. I know AEW's taken a lot of its not momentum, but a lot of that prestige, and AEW is filling the number 2 spot. But it all started with New Japan, and it all started with Inoki. And like, even if I drift away from New Japan during the course of a year, there are things I don't miss. I never miss a Wrestle Kingdom and things like that. And that's been the way it's been like that for years. So especially recently with the whole Omega versus Okada stuff, like really setting the company on fire, and the Western expansion. It all started with Inoki, so props to him, and it's a shame he died what I think is quite young as well, really.
Yeah, lots of tributes throughout this whole pay-per-view to a proper legend in New Japan Pro Wrestling and I guess wrestling lore as well in Inoki. Moving forward onto the into the main card, this match is certainly notable. Certainly for me, another person who comes in and out of retirement, it seems, every couple of weeks, and that is one Lio Rush as part of his team Chaos, with Yo, who was one of my performers of the night. Yo particularly really impressed me. Lio Rush's tag team partner here. Obviously, they an interesting match. They were fighting Francesco Akira, the first Italian to compete in New Japan, and TJP. Now, I didn't realize that TJP was such a big deal in Japan. He is a talented lad. Obviously, time in WWE and Impact Wrestling, most noted for his time in Impact. He has a great reputation in Catch 22 or Catch 2-2. Against Chaos for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships was an awesome match. TJP and Akira coming out on top, but particularly for me, Sam, it was great to sort of see. Just awesome to see some new talent. I'd never seen Yo before, and I'd never seen Akira either. Your thoughts on this match? Like I say, this has got to be, certainly my top 3 or 4 matches of the night. Because the talent, the quick pace, everybody's fast paced. Lio Rush, I know why people keep wanting to bring him out of retirement every week. What are your thoughts on these guys together in this tag team match?
I've been a big fan of, and I'm still not over the breakup of Sho and Yo. I'm still struggling with that. I'm still processing that. Yeah. So Sho was Yo's tag team partner. They were kind of like the Rocky Romero's two little understudies, and now they've, one of them turned heel, and that was it. But yeah, so Leo was the tag team. I haven't seen them working together before. Obviously, I'm very familiar with Leo Rush. I'm very familiar with TJP. Not so much with Akira. So it was nice to see him for the first time. I'll certainly watch him again. That's for damn sure. And can I also do props for Lord Gideon Gray at ringside from Rev Pro? Awesome to see Gideon out there snarling away. It's just, he's awesome. I wish he had cut a promo or something. But anyway, this is the definition of a warm-up match. This is what you need. 10-minute match. Bang, bang, bang. Lots of action. You don't take your eyes off it. It was exactly what it needed to be. And I think TJP, he was in WWE and he had the Cruiserweight Classic, and then he kind of flitted around the independents. He was in Impact for a bit. He was in MLW for a bit. But I think in New Japan as a heel, he's superb. And you can see him every week on the New Japan Strong as well, which is the American TV series. And he's a reason to tune in on that. And Leo Rush as well. So it's great to see New Japan Strong being represented on Wrestle Kingdom. They haven't just forgotten about their little American fight TV show.
Yeah. Like I say, I think there's some, again, great crossover. We'll talk about another, great representative for America in, for New Japan as they take their next big show into the US in a few matches time. Of course, it's great to see TJP there. Great to see so many talents internationally, as you say, coming to Japan, putting on an incredible show. And again, introducing me to, again, because you know this stuff. This is why you're here. It's wonderful to have your opinions and thoughts on Wrestle Kingdom. Right here on the Give Me a Hull Yeah podcast. But for me, it was so exciting watching Yo and so exciting watching Akira as well in this context, because honestly, they were amazing, and it was such a fun match to behold, and lovely to hear your enthusiasm for performers that obviously you have a lot of love and respect for as well, Sam.
Yeah, it's like Leo Rush, bless him. I know he retires and then comes out of retirement, and that's just become a bit of a parody at the moment. But it's also important to point out that, the guy, I think he's had some mental health issues in his life, bless him. I think he's trying to find his place in the world sometimes. So I think Leo Rush, when he's retired, he has meant it. But then people say to him, Leo, you're too good to retire, mate. Come back out. Come on, let's see what you can do. And so it's nice to see him on a really big stage, having a really good match. And I wish him all the best, and I hope his career carries on. I hope, Leo, if you see this, no more retiring, mate. Just crack on and keep doing what you do.
Yeah, one of the greatest talents in wrestling, and I will stand by that. And I didn't know. This is why it's great to have your thoughts on this, and why it's great to have people in the comments like today telling me about some of the performers I didn't know about. I actually didn't know that Leo Rush was struggling with any kind of mental health stuff. So I was looking at his unretiring as quite a and I will be honest here, I was looking at it, without the empathy that I perhaps should have been.
Oh no, mate, no, you weren't. You were just fine. You were absolutely fine. It is funny. We're allowed to laugh a little bit, but it's a case of, because there was a point where we're like, oh Leo, come on, mate. It was last week you did this, but it's like, it's the important thing. Like we're allowed. I think he's probably the first to say, I can't believe I've done this again. He's probably the first, but the guy has a good sense of humor. But he's also obviously you didn't mean any harm at all, and most of the fans don't either. We're allowed to go again. But the important thing is we know he's okay.
I think it's important to acknowledge that there's a factor, though. Certainly with some of the other work I do, it's an important factor of that. And I think that for me, knowing that now, I might be a little less like, oh, come on, Leo. Do you know what I mean?
I'm sorry, mate. I feel like I've thrown that at you.
No, it's good. No, it's good. You're learning all the time. I didn't know that. And I genuinely think he's such an incredible talent. I think he's such an incredible talent, and he just deserves all the success. And and Sassy highlighting their Mox has been mentoring Leo Rush. Really,
I didn't know that. That's news to me.
I knew he mentored somebody else that we're gonna talk about in a minute on this card. And there's obviously Shota Umino we're gonna discuss. But yeah, not Leo Rush, and that's good to know. That's good to know because I love Leo Rush. Talking about another performer that I want to highlight, and I will bring up. Because I'm very impressed, particularly with this, even though the match was criminally short and for various reasons, as we'll find out. But all the reviews that I've seen today of one of the major criticisms is that this match in particular was too short, and that was the match between Kairi and Tam Nakano for the IWGP Women's Championship. Now, another performer that I'd never seen before was Tam Nakano. The most colourful attire, wonderful, great performer. She gave a very emotional post-show press conference, where she was upset, and I hope she's given a great platform like this again, because Tam Nakano, for me, for my money, was again another performer of the night where I was just so blown away. There's Tam for you guys. So blown away by her performance in particular. Before we talk about the, I mean, I don't think there's any argument. The biggest talking point of the evening, which happened at the conclusion of this match. Your thoughts on Kairi, who is obviously a bona fide international main event. Yeah. So there's talk about her walking through the forbidden door at a certain event later on this month as well. But Kairi, again, bona fide worldwide main eventer, and obviously Tam Nakano as well. For me, a brand new superstar to be impressed by.
Yeah, so I didn't know a huge amount. To my great shame, I'm not a massive follower of Stardom and some of the others. I'm often aware of the big stuff that's going on because it's my job. But but when it comes to Tam, I'd heard of her, but I'd not seen much. And if I had, I don't think I gave it the attention she deserves. Where put her in a ring with Kairi at Wrestle Kingdom, I'm going to pay attention. So and that's exactly what I did. And I'd very much like to see more. Like, yeah, the match was probably a little bit short, but I feel like they did Tam dirty a little bit by, it was more about let's get the match out of the way and focus on the angle, which is going to come next. And that's okay, I suppose. It's fair enough, but I would like to see Tam and Kairi have a rematch at some point and both go the distance. But let's talk about Kairi for a minute. What a star. So much charisma, so much talent. I want more Kairi Sane, and like I said, injected into my veins immediately. She's just so good. I miss her in WWE. I was a massive fan of the Sky Pirates. I just thought that was an awesome name, an awesome gimmick, everything. I loved everything about it. I feel like they didn't give her what she deserved on the main roster. It's a shame because I think Triple H would. But she's kicking ass in this new New Japan Women's Division, which seems separate from Stardom in its own way, or conjoined. So I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see where that goes. And we have a Dan Hargreaves in the house.
We do indeed. Hey, Dan, thank you for covering for me this morning when we first started off. Like you say, I could see more Tam Nakano teaming with Kairi. I think there's a discussion around that as well, or there was a discussion like that. Kairi certainly handpicked Tam to face her as well. So some interesting stuff. And I truly believe you will see more of Kairi Sane on around the world in this coming year. There's obviously talk. I think she was one of the discussions for that Forbidden Door slot at the Rumble. So who knows, man? Who knows?
I hope so. I hope so much. I want to hear her WWE music. It just pops me straight away. So I really want to hear it.
Absolutely. And I think nothing else major really happened after this match, did it? Really? So we can move on. I think we have to talk about this, where you have Kairi Sane confronted by one Sasha Banks, or as she is now known, it's Mercedes Moné. Dan, the presentation was excellent. The maneuver that she used to take out Kairi was less than good. in my opinion, but I am not a professional wrestler and I couldn't do that myself. And I will always preface that. My criticism is that the debut and the surprise was slightly marred by the quality of the maneuver that Mercedes took Kairi down with. But all in all, the presentation here was excellent in terms of the entrance, the gear, the vibe. She cut a promo. I wasn't expecting that. I certainly wasn't expecting her to do a post pay-per-view press conference where she took questions. This is unusual. We all knew it was happening. But she was quoted with Mercedes. This is quoted as saying she's on an international tour, which to me screams AEW next week one, and it also screams a short international run. I believe we will see Mercedes Moné back in a WWE ring before this year is out. But certainly for the start of the year, and in terms of a shock, quote unquote, the worst kept secret in wrestling, I suppose, since CM Punk's debut, arguably, in AEW. Your thoughts on because your thoughts on this segment, because again the match was probably too quick. Dan says the hair was incredible. You could pull that off. I wasn't so sure about it, Dan, but again, that's just me in my critical frame of mind. I am not a multi-millionaire wrestling performer. I do not have the skills of Sasha Banks / Mercedes Moné. So take any of my criticisms on Mercedes. I certainly don't look as good as Mercedes Moné with blue hair or in any other context. So take my criticisms with a pinch of salt. But for me, this debut wasn't as impactful as it possibly should have been, and that's purely for because of the maneuvers used. But in terms of the presentation, I know I'm repeating myself, so I'll let you take over. In terms of the presentation, the theme music, etc., and the gear, and even the promo as well, the CEO of New Japan and Stardom.
Loved it.
You loved it, did you? Go on.
Obviously, we knew she was coming. I actually thought she was going to interfere in the match. So when she actually just came out afterwards, I thought, oh, okay, fair enough. At least she did interfere. At first, I like the hair. I don't mean this as an insult, but I did think for a moment somebody had cracked a Cadbury's cream egg over her head for a moment. I really did. But then when I saw it was the fire kind of burning away the blue. So it was almost burning away the blueprint to form a gimmick into a new gimmick. I liked it. I liked the imagery. But I couldn't get past the cream egg thing. But then I actually didn't so much mind the spot. Because I kind of thought to myself, look, Kairi, she's obviously come out, and you must be expecting her to smack you in the face when you do the handshake. That's what everyone's expecting. So, but what I liked about the maneuver is it was one that you could. It was a reversal of Kairi's reversal. So it kind of works. It kind of stopped Kairi from getting punked out completely. She outsmarted her rather than just assaulted her. But yeah, it was a little bit. Once Kairi was up, it was like awkward.
Okay, because I didn't look at it as a reversal from Kairi.
Really?
I didn't see that. I thought it was meant to be a fancy move that didn't come across.
Because I saw her striking Kairi going no, and then go, aha, I've got your arm doing this. That's what I saw. I saw
right,
it as,
okay.
I'm going to hit you.
Okay,
and I know that you know.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna watch this again, just because I need to see this spot. Just because
it was a bit ungainly, but it was. I actually did. I saw why they did it. It was kind of okay, yeah. It was because obviously Kairi knew she was going to do that, so it was. Oh, and also, I just want to say as well, I loved her music, but then when it went Moné, I snickered a bit. I was like, then it did it again, Moné,
Moné,
and again, so I think every time I hear her music and it does that, I'm going to giggle.
Moné.
Moné.
Yeah.
I even watched it back and it made me laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
2 minutes, Dom. I'm just going to quickly let the cat in because he's going nuts at the door.
No worries, dude. No worries. Yeah, so Sassy says that Dan can rock that hair. Yeah, I mean, for me, like I say, there was some good moments to it. It was a great get for New Japan, obviously trying to expand their audience as they are in America, in wrestling. And I think that who better to do that? And Dan says, yeah, it's possibly ruined next week's surprise. But I think she's, people are expecting it. People are expecting the star power of Mercedes Moné. And it could work in the same way that CM Punk worked, in AEW, where we all knew CM Punk was coming back, but it wasn't until it happened. We didn't realize until it happened how impactful that was going to be on people's emotions, on numerous things. So certainly it was good for me. As soon as Sam goes, people disappear. As soon as Sam goes, people disappear. You see,
I'm back now. Come back.
Yeah, people disappear. But yeah, like I say, I think if she debuts, there you go, people have come back. If she debuts next week on Dynamite, which is looking more and more likely, it's still going to be a big thing. Still going to be a surprise. Still going to be notable in the same way that CM Punk's debut was. We knew that was going to happen, but obviously we still loved it anyway. And I think people will love Mercedes Moné. They will love Sasha Banks debuting in AEW if that happens next week. I mean, do you think that's what's happening, Sam?
I think we're in a brave new world where, because let's not forget, I'm going to answer your question with a rambling point. Let's not forget that we actually saw WWE guys on this card who are active WWE guys right now wearing WWE merch. So we actually could see Sasha Banks pop up anywhere. Now, she's not going to rush back to WWE, I don't think, but she has made some nice noises towards them today, including Vince, Triple H, and everybody else. So I think she is absolutely going to have a run in AEW, and I want to see her appear, attack Saraya. Sassy's like, I hope she's Saraya's partner. Sassy, I've got other plans. I want her to come out.
All right, what are your plans?
Well, I want her to come out, attack Saraya, and go, I'm going to retire you again. And make that the story, because let's not forget, it was controversial at the time, and I'm certainly not blaming Sasha Banks or Mercedes here because accidents happen in wrestling, and that's exactly what it was. It was an accident. But let's shoot this into a work. Let's make this an angle. Let's have something happen where you should have stayed retired and you came back. I'm back here to put you back there. Writes itself. Fantasy booking. Mercedes Moné against Saraya. Both with their nice new names in AEW. That's what I want to see. Then I'd like to see her perhaps back in WWE. However, Jay White did say the other day in an interview, I think it was with Sean Ross Sapp, that he'd love to see Sasha Banks lead a female contingent of Bullet Club alongside Mia Yim. And I remember just thinking, oh, wow, that's so cool. And here's from a marketing point of view. She can't be Sasha Banks back in WWE after unveiling this Moné persona. So I think she's going to spend some time away from WWE, milk that for all the money it's worth, and maybe then go back to WWE at a later date. She can do what she wants now. Free agent, she can do what she wants.
She certainly can, and she's certainly getting that money for these appearances too. So yeah, good. On all power to her. All power to Mercedes Varnado for getting the for the business sense and for being in this situation. Moving on to the next match, which again another banger. There was banger after banger after banger, Sam. Banger after banger on this card. And the next one was FTR, Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler versus Bishamon, Goto and YOSHI-HASHI for the IWGP Tag Team Championships. Now, again, for me, this one, I'd never seen Bishamon. Of course, you can't go anywhere without seeing FTR these days. One of, if not the best tag team, or celebrated as one of, or not the best tag team in the world. Your thoughts on this one? Because for me, FTR shine wherever they go. Bishamon, Kevin Kelly, who was great on commentary all night, made a big point of saying that Bishamon should have been included in lots of year-end lists, year-end discussions for best tag team, and they certainly proved that to me tonight. Bishamon are, just an incredible team who did, again, particularly YOSHI-HASHI really stood out to me. Obviously, FTR do make everybody look good to a point, but Bishamon were really stood out. So, Sam, your thoughts on this? Obviously, Bishamon taking the titles away, the IWGP Tag Team Championships away from FTR, thus ending their belt collector gimmick, as it is. Your thoughts on this one?
So, for starters, I feel like FTR are losing a bit too much, and I want to. They've had some high profile losses, and I want to see them start getting some wins because they are like the world's favorite tag team at the moment. Apart from the Usos, the Usos are heels, so we have to go boo Usos. But now with Bishamon, I've been a fan of YOSHI-HASHI for a long time, and I appreciate Hirooki Goto as well. They're both great, but they've never been like hugely over with me as far as stars. I'm happy to watch their matches, and I like how they built up YOSHI-HASHI from a guy who was on losing streaks and really suffering to like qualify for the G1 and stuff like that. They've now turned him into a killer, and that's great because he got famous as a pro wrestler by being a killer. So it's cool that they've done that with him. But yeah, I'm not massively feeling the tag team. I understand why they went over. It's their time in New Japan. It is their time. But I'm too much of an FTR stan to be happy about it. So I want FTR to go back to AEW now and to start smashing some scissors. Put it that way.
Okay.
And thank you so much, Tom Talks Rubbish. What a guy.
You think it's time for that? Yeah, thank you, Tom, for the super chat. That's awesome. Really appreciate it. Just back from boxing. I always like seeing your boxing videos and clips on Twitter, mate. Yeah, good stuff. Bishamon, an awesome team. This will put them on the map, and I hope it does. Like I say, I hope it does, and I hope it spurs them on. Sassy saying hi, Tom. Thank you, and also how are you doing? Checking in. Sassy gave me an update. I'm glad you're feeling a little better. Sassy had an accident the other day, so I'm hoping you are again feeling better right now. And obviously, Sassy's been equally as dedicated as anybody on this podcast, Sam, as me, you, Anthony, Dan, anybody. Sassy has been an exceptional moderator ever since we enlisted her services, and obviously you took a tumble the other day, so. Thank you so much for still being here. Thank you for supporting us on arguably, potentially our busiest day of the year, I would say, in terms of so far, in terms of content. So thank you.
All four of us have been on, haven't we? By the time Ant's been on, all four of us have been on at some point today. That's crazy.
All four of us will have been on. I don't in our few years doing this, I don't think we've ever done anything quite like this today. So again, a great showing for Bishamon. Dan wants FTR to go back to AEW, smash some scissors, smash the Acclaimed, and then go from there. So and I agree. I think it's time for FTR to focus attention on AEW and Bishamon to take their place as one of the best tag teams in New Japan. So next up, we have another exciting match: Ren Narita versus Zack Sabre Jr. for the new New Japan Pro Wrestling TV Championship. So a new TV champion was crowned in the form, Sam, of Zack Sabre Jr. for this one. Now, for me and my money, Zack Sabre Jr. is second to Will Ospreay, and he's the greatest British wrestler alive for me. I think he's amazing. I also want to shout out to he made a comment about paying nurses a living wage on his way down the ramp, which I applaud you for. With our small platform, Zack Sabre Jr., we applaud you for that. I thought it was a lovely comment with the best intentions. But
my wife's a nurse, so I was going to say, I have to say, guys, my wife's a nurse, so that meant a lot to me. It'll mean a lot to her when she sees it. So it means a lot to a lot of other people, and most of us decent people agree with that, because it's where the hell would we be without them anyway?
Absolutely. Certainly in this country, we are not. Yeah. We are not yet subjected to private healthcare throughout the UK. We have had the privilege and honour of being taken care of by nurses nurses and doctors for a very long time. However, we are in a situation now where obviously that free service is stretched beyond beyond anything it's been before, and so it's an increasing issue, because our other options are all round private care, and we have been lucky enough not to, again, people have not had to afford, like in other countries, like in the US. And I know lots of friends and family and people that have lived over there or been over there that have had extensive bills, and we are over here very privileged to not have to be subjected to that. But that's another conversation for another time.
It is. But final point, I'm happy to pay more tax if anybody wants to know. I'm more than happy. Let's fund it. Anyway, moving.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's fund it. That's 100%. My agreement on that one, and a props to Zack Sabre Jr. for that. My dog agrees as well. My dog.
Of course he does.
Absolutely. So Ren Narita versus Zack Sabre Jr. Ren Narita, I think, has had a couple of shows on AEW as well. One of the stars has had some American exposure, but Zack Sabre Jr., his resume speaks for itself. I believe he was offered a WWE contract by Paul Heyman. He has been in the Cruiserweight Classic. He's been all over the world, in Japan, in the UK. He's held championships everywhere. The first New Japan World TV champion, Sam, and also a member of the former TM61, now TMDK, in New Japan. I was certainly surprised and kind of reacquainted with New Japan's love of factions.
Yes.
I forgot about the faction thing in New Japan. Bullet Club for life. So yeah, the faction thing is interesting. So TMDK coming down to welcome Zack Sabre Jr., who was a faction free agent until this match ended, winning that championship, and obviously Ren Narita, a worthy challenger. The right call then, Sam, for Zack Sabre Jr. to win this championship.
Yeah, 100%. I'll tell you why, and I'm going to put over Ren Narita first. But yeah, sorry, Dom. You reminded me that. Suzuki-gun is essentially no more, so they've got to go out and do more things. So yeah, it's a sad day, really. I've been enjoying the torturous things that faction have done for years. But anyway, Ren Narita I've become very, very, very familiar with in the past couple of years and over the pandemic because of New Japan Strong, where he is one of the biggest stars, and he's like a young lion who's become a big lion in that time. But yeah, he went up against Zack Sabre Jr. and he's going up against the grizzled veteran who can tie you in knots and torture you. So, yeah, Sabre Jr. had to win that. And I like that he's now reunited with some old Aussie friends. I know Zach's British, of course, and I agree. Again, there's a few of the British wrestlers I'd include in that conversation. McIntyre and people like that, for example. But yeah, like as far as the technical wrestlers go, I actually think ZSJ is the best in the world. Bar none. And some people are a little bit bored by his technical rap matches sometimes. I never am. It's human chess. I could watch that guy for an hour do his thing. And I love how he gets angry, hot under the collar, and swears and then kicks people and stuff like that. I love him. I think he's amazing. And I just love everything he does. And he's like, even when he works as a colossal heel, he's a massive baby face to me for what he does in real life. So,
I love his just sort of kicks. He just kicks, just like go on, mate. He just has a proper kick. It's a proper kick vest, and not even like just like I'm gonna kick you because I don't like you kind of stuff. You know what I mean? He's fascinating. Is Zack Sabre Jr. Again, probably you're right. I think if we're talking sports entertainers, then of course, yeah, you Will Ospreay. But certainly in terms of technical stuff, I would say Ospreay's the best in the world for British wrestling.
ZSJ, Sabre Jr.
Sorry, Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, sure. Without a doubt, like him and Ospreay in New Japan have been reasons to tune in for British people for a very, very long time because we've got two of the best in the world right there on their main roster, kicking ass every week. So again, if you're a British wrestler and you want to see some, you're a British fan and you want to see some British wrestlers in New Japan, like you can't go wrong with those two guys. They're just awesome. But yeah, props to Ren Narita for standing tall on Wrestle Kingdom because I think this is the first time. I could be wrong. I think this is the first time he's been in a singles match on the main card of Wrestle Kingdom. but great things in his future. Once he can lose the young lion black trunks and start developing some personality and some character. That's what I want to see from Ren Narita.
Yeah, definitely. Again, such a talent that is fortunately getting exposure on a global scale with his Ren Narita now. Oh, Emma's bought me a brew. Thank you, my love. Oh, that's what a wonderful day this is.
Jess, if you're on the stream, if you're watching the stream on your iPad in bed, I think you know what I want. Yes, please.
Oh, bless you, mate. Bless you. Well, Jess, you're a star if you are watching.
Usually does.
Well, that's wonderful. Thanks, my love. Right. So where are we at now? This is very professional, isn't it? We're very professional on this stream. Right. Okay. Yeah. The big one. Karl Anderson versus Tama Tonga for the Never Openweight Championship. Now, this to me was a foregone conclusion. You're not going to have Machine Gun Karl Anderson keep that championship. It's not good for business. It's certainly not for New Japan. If Karl Anderson, who is hang on, excuse me, guys, technical issues on the back end. There we go. We got there eventually. Karl Anderson.
Read into that what you will.
Indeed, yes, absolutely. Technically, she's on the back end. What was I saying? Karl Anderson, Machine Gun Karl Anderson versus Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga is one of my favorite performers from New Japan. Karl Anderson, has been a great heel and has reminded me throughout his New Japan run that he is a wonderful singles competitor in his own right. That he is a fantastic heel. One of the best heels going if he's in a singles run. He's so unlikable. But there was a lovely moment, actually, if you go and watch the New Japan post-conference streams where he hugs Tama Tonga. So he drops the character and congratulates Tama Tonga. A lovely little moment there for Tama and Machine Gun Karl Anderson. But really, like I say, not a by numbers match, a good grudge match, a good solid grudge match, lots of action on the outside. Karl Anderson dropping the belt with Tama Tonga hitting the gun stun, which is obviously passed on from Karl Anderson to Tama. And obviously Tama Tonga winning, which I think most people knew was going to happen, Sam. Your thoughts on the result of this one?
Yeah, so I kind of hoped that they'd swerve us a little bit and that Anderson would retain and we'd be like, oh, wow, the WWE NJPW thing is continuing. But I get why this had to happen. And Tama needed that big win, needed a title win, needed a happy ending to the story since he got kicked out of Bullet Club. There was so much going on, so much history in this match. Because let's not forget, Anderson and Gallows are feuding with Finn Balor in WWE, who's the founder of Bullet Club, along with Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga was kicked out by the Good Brothers and Jay White on an episode on Impact. So there's almost these different factions elsewhere of Bullet Club, where I feel like what was nice about this is it was acknowledged by New Japan and technically by WWE as well that the OC, the original club, are indeed an official spin-off of Bullet Club in WWE. So because even Jay White has said so. So that's nice that we have that connect. Like Anderson was there tonight doing the bidding of Bullet Club more than he was the babyface he is on WWE TV. So it was cool to see that. But yeah, it was actually quite sad because we're seeing three of the different founders of Bullet Club, three of the original four, all battling each other. But great storytelling, happy ending for Tama Tonga. Anderson can now go back to WWE and do his thing there. Happy days, all good.
Good stuff, good work. And like I say, from an emotional standpoint, definitely go and watch that post-show press conference that they did. But yeah, great showcase for Tama Tonga. Great to see him, have this platform and win the big one effectively on this platform against the nasty heel Karl Anderson. But like I say, most impressive for me is Karl Anderson's heel work on his own. Just an incredible talent, really.
And is it me? Sorry, mate. Sorry. Did he finish the match by finish the job, almost kind of passing the torch and and squashing the beef. That pretty awesome.
Yeah, it
Sorry,
was.
you were saying,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it certainly was. It certainly felt like squashing the beef for me. Yeah, certainly felt like that. So yeah, a class match after that. We had Keiji Muto, of course, the great Muta is one of his alter egos, Tanahashi and Shota Umino, the young lion of that team, obviously mentored by one John Moxley, versus Los Ingobernables de Japon, which is Tetsuya Naito, SANADA, and Bushi. Now, some wonderful stuff, and again, showing my limited knowledge of New Japan. This was, with exception to Naito. Actually, no, I know. I knew Muto, I knew Tanahashi, I knew Shota Umino, I knew Muto as well. I mean, Sanada, I knew. Actually, Bushi. Thinking about it, Bushi was the only person I didn't know much of, and Bushi was very impressive for me. Muta, he's on his retirement run. I think he's got. He had his retirement match as Great Muta last week, obviously early this week against Shinsuke Nakamura. I think he made some questionable comments after it, but in terms of the match itself, Nakamura won and Muto losing that great match. Again, WWE contracted guy working in Japan, the Forbidden Door as well and truly open. But Muto back tonight as Keiji Muto, teaming with Tanahashi, Shota Umino versus Naito, Sanada, and Bushi. Now, this ended with Shota Umino getting the pinfall after a Muto Shining Wizard, and then Umino getting that pin. It felt like Tanahashi and Muto certainly passing the torch to Shota Umino, who we've seen on AEW TV before, again, mentored quite heavily by John Moxley. Naito was good in this. Sanada was good in this. Bushi exceptional as well. Your thoughts on this one, Sam? Because to me, great to see Muto in the ring. I always love seeing great Muto and Muto. Shota Umino standing out as well. Tanahashi, what a character is Tanahashi. Sanada as well. Everyone's got really loud hair. It's good, but also incredible talents in the ring. Your thoughts on this one, then, Sam?
Yeah, I love Tanahashi no matter what he does. Just always love Tanahashi. Shota Umino or Shota the Shooter, as I think they called him in Rev Pro a few years ago. I got familiar with him there. He's great. He's like Ren Narita. He's a future star. Fast forward 10 years, he'll be one of the guys headlining. Guaranteed. Los Ingobernables, I adore. I love Tetsuya Naito. I love Sanada. Sanada's just a star. Bushi I feel like still needs to step out of the shadow of the other two. But I've always felt like Bushi is a mini Great Muta.
So man, say that again. Say the faction name again for me.
Los Ingobernables de Japon.
I love it. I always understood it to be Los Ingobernables, but Los Ingobernables sounds incredible.
Los Ingobernables. It's Spanish. It means the ungovernable ones, I think. In Spanish.
Yeah, I'm convinced it's still pronounced Los Ingobernables.
It's not. I promise you, it's not. People in the chat, back me up.
It sounds like a biscuit.
Hobbanopolis. No, I'll tell you where it comes from. It comes from in CMLL when Naito went over there and joined Hiroshi's stable with Dragon Lee and the others. And he was like their Japanese guy. And he then went over. And because Los Ingobernables actually exists in AEW as well, but they're called something else now.
It does with Andrade, right? Andrade was the one
so the D Japon means we're that faction in Japan. So that's where I might be butchering it, but I'm definitely sure it isn't yours.
Sorry. Can you sorry, carry on. I'm sorry for interrupting you there.
No, it's funny because that is a word I just prefer to call them the ungovernables because it's easier for me to say. But yeah, if somebody speaks Spanish, back us up here. But yeah, I think Bushi is like a mini Great Muta, spits the mist at people, jumps around in a mask. He reminds me of Muta from the WCW days when he was up against Sting and people like that. Keiji Muto or the Great Muta, this sounds awful because it's going to sound a little bit ageist, and I promise you it isn't, but I feel like he sometimes struggles to get up the ramp. So I don't think I've enjoyed a Muta match for a long. I'm always happy to. I always pop when I see him. and then I'm kind of a little bit disappointed. I don't know. I like the idea of him popping up, spitting mist at somebody these days and going away again, helping a babyface win.
He did that a few weeks ago, didn't he? Or a few months ago with Sting. Yeah.
Yes. But I feel bless him because he's been his whole life being a pro athlete. I feel like I'm always scared for him when he's in the ring a little bit, and he's I'm sure he can look after himself. But that's just I feel like the presentation of it is a little bit takes me out of it sometimes. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors, but that's okay, I suppose. This isn't a criticism of him personally, just the because he's been booked by so many indie companies over the years as well, and it's often been the same thing. Where I'm a Muta fan. I was a Muta fan 20 years ago. I'm always happy to see him, but I don't really want to see him in a marquee match anymore.
I see. But was it the right call to have Shota Umino take the win here? Obviously, he was the one that got the pinfall. Was Shota? Your thoughts on the passing of the torch again? You mentioned it a little bit ago. From a guy like Muto and a guy like Tanahashi, who obviously can still just about go. But obviously are in that passing the torch stage of their careers, to a guy like Shota Umino.
Well, I think Tanahashi's like a fine wine, but yeah, they have to start building people like Shota Umino now, and people like Ren Narita. They've got to start doing that passing of the torch moment. They've got to start doing that if they're gonna one day have because we don't want to be in a WWE problem where WWE had a panic at one point because they ran out of stars and they were struggling to make stars, and I think AEW have suffered from that at times as well. But at this moment, another thing I'd say is I like seeing LIJ matches. I really wanted to see Naito in a singles match on this Wrestle Kingdom because Naito is one of the people I tune into New Japan for because he's just amazing. He's like their Stone Cold Steve Austin. So a bit disappointed he was in a multi-man match with a lot of gimmicks. I never want to see him wrestle Kota Ibushi ever again because I'm scared they're going to kill each other one day. But yeah, I'm a bit disappointed I didn't get to see that. And I'd like to see Shota Umino versus Naito. That'd be awesome. Let's see that.
Yeah. Absolutely agree with you. That'd be a classic match. I think again, old versus new, passing the torch again in that discussion. Next up, we have Taiji Ishimori, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, versus Hiromi Takahashi, El Desperado, and Master Wato in a fatal four-way for that championship. Now, for me, this was again a great showcase of four guys that I have not encountered. I have not seen any of these guys in action. Desperado's vibe was cool, the look was cool, the action was great. Particularly impressed though, obviously Ishimori coming out here, like Ishimori came out here as the champion and looked very, very good, but Master Wato or Master Wato, however you want to pronounce it, Master Wato was just on fire for me.
Yeah.
Just the incredible talent is Master Wato. Your thoughts on this fatal four-way as someone that's probably seen these guys in action more than I have?
Yeah, all of them are super talented, super charismatic as well, especially Hiromu Takahashi. Now,
Takahashi is, yeah.
Like, again, just so much charisma, so much. Did he have Daryl the Cat out with him or Daryl Jr.? I can't remember. Oh, that's a shame. More Daryl, justice for Daryl. But anyway, he's so colourful, and he's part of the Ungovernable stable with Naito and the others. There's a massive gaping hole in their stable when he was out on injury after he broke his neck, and the whole wrestling community was very worried about him on both sides of the Pacific and the Atlantic. So it's great to see him have that moment and get the win here because he's another one of them future stars. But not to take away from Desperado and Wato, but I think Taiji Ishimori always blows me away. He's a small, powerful guy, but he always looks like he's about 7 foot in there because he's ready to kill someone. He's so well built, well put together, and charismatic. And I can't remember a time he wasn't in Bullet Club. And I even remember watching the show where he joined Bullet Club, and he's just one of the perfect Japanese members of the stable, as the official mascot and the official bone soldier, isn't he? Taji Sumori.
The bone shoulder, yeah, I enjoy that.
That's who he is now, and he's really loving that gimmick, and I hope he stays in that stable forever. But he's another one who one day needs to become a bigger deal and start going after big titles. But I think all four of them are just awesome. It's like that match we had at the start of the card. This was a match. This was a palate cleanser. This was a sorbet before the main courses, and it was just fantastic.
Absolutely. And, again, Takahashi getting that win there, winning that championship as well. So a great moment for him, and obviously a talented wrestler in Japan that obviously turns a lot of heads. And I think that's what New Japan are going for as we head into the next American pay-per-view in February. They want to showcase their most colourful and most interesting talent. And obviously Takahashi certainly is that, as you mentioned, a colourful performer, a great performer with lots to show. And like I say, more Master Wato, please. More Master Wato for me. Just absolutely insanely good stuff there. So now we're on to the meat and potatoes, Sam, of this card. So I mean, first up, we had Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. For me, this one was Will Ospreay as the underdog, Kenny Omega as the villain. Kenny Omega. The last thing I expected from this one, Sam, was for Kenny Omega to walk away with the championship, which is what happened.
Yeah.
And reinvigorating. It's almost like the FTR lost the belt collector gimmick, and Kenny Omega.
His less impressive brother.
Yeah. Kenny Omega regained it. So again, a cracking match. Did you watch the press conferences before? Dan told me to watch it, and that's why.
No, I still need to.
The press conferences was Will Ospreay calls Kenny Omega every name under the sun, and it's very impassioned, very emotional from both of them. So what Ospreay certainly went into this, as far as for my money anyway, went into this as the underdog, and came out of it looking really strong, even in defeat. He was just getting beaten down, destroyed, and he just kept coming back, kept fighting back. But obviously, the inevitable Kenny Omega, by God, the inevitable Kenny Omega getting the win with the unkick-outable one-winged angel after finisher after finisher after finisher. Couldn't put Zack Sabre Jr. away. Of course, Zack Sabre Jr. Sorry, not Zack Sabre Jr. Sorry, Will Ospreay. I've got Zack Sabre Jr. on my mind, just because he was so good. But couldn't put down Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay hit him with that burning hammer type sliding knife.
The hidden blade.
The hidden blade. There you go.
It's an Assassin's Creed reference. It's really cool.
Very cool. The hidden blade. A bunch of times, but again couldn't put Omega down. Omega looking like the global star that he is now. In with this win, Sam, your thoughts on this and what they did here with Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, with Kenny Omega winning that title, getting that gold from this, Kenny Omega, again, the global star, one of the faces of AEW. You always think of Will Ospreay as the face of New Japan, or one of the faces rather of New Japan. What's the decision here? What prompted the decision to give the championship to an AEW star?
Right, I think there's a few things going on here. See, I went into it completely the opposite, because Kenny Omega, they've been baby facing up on AEW since he came back, and I understand why. And although I think they should have come back absolute shit eating heels personally, but anyway, because Ospreay has been quite the bad guy for the longest time since he established United Empire. So it was weird that they switched up the dynamic, and I think a massive part of that was having Don Callis healing it up on commentary made Omega
absolutely
more like the the villain that he was during his belt collector gimmick. Now, there's a lot going on. I think this is to make Omega look powerful again, and to remind us who he is. This is the guy who has those matches with Okada. This is what he can do. This is what he's going to do every week on AEW. So tune the hell in. And I have to say, my reaction to this, because I've had mixed feelings about the Elite for several months. I won't get into that again, but finally is what I have to say. Finally, I haven't seen Omega like this since last time he was in New Japan. I've never really seen this Omega in AEW. I've not seen it, and I was happy to just see this style of booking and this Kenny Omega, who's the Kenny Omega whose t-shirts I bought and matches I watched over and over again. I'm not taking anything away from Ospreay. Absolutely insane. I can't wait to watch this match again. But my God, I feel like Kenny Omega is back and I'm excited about him again. And I think that was the point here. I think Tony Khan was tickling a couple of New Japan chins with this. And I'm looking forward. I want to see a dominant babyface Omega now. The thing I've always wanted to see since AEW began, and him having, Forbidden Door Sassy, you're damn right, exactly right. I want to see that. Him be the face of that now in AEW. And you know what, Will Ospreay? There's always a rematch.
There is. Jack said something interesting. If he was Tony Khan, he'd be using some of that money to fly Will Ospreay over for Dynamite tonight to cost Kenny Omega.
Could you imagine?
Or next week or something, which would be amazing. I'd love to see that rematch in an AEW ring.
Me too. I'd love to see on, like Sassy said, perhaps the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Maybe we can spin the story's wheels out a little bit. Let's let it breathe. Let's have both men spar from afar, have their underlings wrestle each other, but the Young Bucks maybe go in against some United Empire guys. Let's see, what's he called? The big lad from Hawaii. Oh, I forgot his name, but damn, he's amazing. Jeff Cobb. Let's see Jeff Cobb squash the Young Bucks like bugs. Let's see that.
I love that. You'd love that, wouldn't you? You'd love Jeff Cobb squashing the Young Bucks. Yeah.
Super kick this, you little. Anyway, I like the Young Bucks. I think they've had some awesome matches. But yeah, I want to see, or maybe Aussie Open, because I think there is troops as well, aren't they? Yeah. Let's see the Young Bucks feud with Aussie Open again.
Awesome.
And let's take it from there. But yeah, this isn't done. No way. This is money. This is not done. This has to go on and become a series like it did with Okada. That's what this needs to be.
I think that's a good idea. And again, given that international, presentation that New Japan are trying to go for, this is a great time for that. Again, Kenny Omega, a global star, and you sort of taught me around. You've taught me around a little bit, and there's always time for Ospreay to get a rematch. Always time for Ospreay to have that to get that title back somewhere down the line. You know what I mean? So
yeah, 100%.
Interesting point. So we'll move on to the main event. Like I say, for me, that one was my match of the night. I thought that was incredible. Both those guys, again, Ospreay particularly taking beating after beating, still coming back. Kenny Omega having to pull out every stop in order to get that win was just one hell of a story that was told. Next up is my second favorite wrestler. I don't think I've ever told you who my second favorite wrestler is, and that is one Jay White. I think Jay White is an exceptional performer in every sense of the word, and second in terms of a sports entertainer, an all-rounder.
I'd say. Yeah.
Second only to Roman Reigns in terms of a sports entertainer is Jay White. I think Jay White is incredible on the mic and incredible in the ring, better in the ring than Roman Reigns. Personally, that is my opinion. But he came out on the losing end of this match, the next match, which was I have to create a banner for it because I didn't pre-plan quickly enough. Was Jay White versus Okada, and of course Okada getting the win there, and retaining that belt on this sort of tribute show to Inoki. Probably no better of a person to to have done that, to have retained that gold, sort of not retained, have regained that gold on this setting, in this setting. But a wonderful match, a great technical affair, hard hitting, both of them going back and forth and back and forth. Jay White and Okada. Your thoughts on this one, Sam? Okada and White, and what was it the right call to have Okada win?
Yes and no. Like, personally, I wanted Jay White to win because this whole Jay White being at the top of the card in New Japan is just, again, it's money, it's brilliant, it's just, as a Western viewer, it makes me fascinated to watch it. As a Bullet Club fan, makes me want to watch more. Everything Jay White does just fascinates me. Whether he's on the mic, in the ring, he's just
incredible.
amazing.
Where do you agree with me? Do you think he's at the top of that? He's in that list.
He's in my. He wasn't in my top. I don't think he was in my top 10. I can't remember if he was or not.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't in any of ours. But in terms of a wrestler that I'm passionate about.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
A wrestler that I enjoy. Like, I enjoy his interviews. I enjoy the way he conducts himself. I think he's just exceptional in that.
Yeah, and what's amazing is he's only 30 and he's already achieved so much. Like, I don't know if he should stay in New Japan forever. I don't know. Like, I loved seeing him in AEW.
I was fantasy booking him for the Rumble last year.
Oh, yeah, you were. Oh, yes, we were, weren't we? Me too, yeah, because everyone thought he might, because he was a free agent briefly. But even that was a work. He MJF'd us a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
MJFU. But yeah, it was like he's got so many things to do. And yeah, Sassy's right here. Like, they've maybe feuding with Adam Cole when he returns. Exactly. I think that might be what Tony Khan is waiting for, providing Gedo and the guys at New Japan agree. It'd be nice to see more Jay White in AEW, and more. That's what I want to see. Maybe a run in WWE one day, but right now, I'm a bit disappointed he's lost. But I understand why, because the storytelling here was a redemption story for Okada and to send the fans home happy, because he's the babyface and he's the Rainmaker and the big hero, and it was the fact that Jay White has this whole relationship going with the crowd where he wants them to love him. But they don't love him because he's a bad guy and he's a sniveling heel at the end. He can do it all, but because he's a sniveling heel and a villain, we're never going to love you. And this was the Mad King being toppled off his throne and the champion descending again. And this is Okada returning to claim his throne after, because let's not forget Okada's original big money-making run where he became the Rainmaker. It went a little bit, not stale, but he became a little bit heelish, a little bit overconfident, a bit mean, and then he lost it, and he had that weird era where he dyed his hair and ran around with balloons, jumped off the turnbuckle shouting "Scooby-Dooby-Doo," things like that. Or like he went a bit nuts, and now he's back at the top of his game. It's a really good story for Okada, and if anybody's going to do it, it makes sense to be him before it's anyone like Omega or anyone else. And again, it's not over. We are now at Jay White and Okada top of the card, and I want to see them two cats circling each other, and I want to see more storytelling with that. And it might be safe to get the belt off Jay White if indeed Jay White is coming over to the West for some AEW stuff.
Yeah, and I hope that is the case. That would be a surprise I would welcome in this new year. But then we also never got the Okada payoff. Was it supposed to be Okada versus Punk at one time?
Oh yeah, well,
I'd love to see that.
We'll see what happens.
One day, in some form, I'd love to see that.
Me too.
Sassy says another match of the year candidate, 100%. It's early days, but I could totally see that. Jay White may be feuding with Adam Cole when he comes back. I mean, that would be interesting in an AEW setting. I've been wondering where Adam Cole is. So certainly a really good dream feud there from Sassy for Jay White. Like I say, love to see more of Okada in the West as well. One of the greatest wrestlers to ever do it, let alone right now. Okada is on top of his game, the Rainmaker, incredible. So yeah, I think for me, quality, more Jay White, more switchblade, please, all the
Lots
time.
and lots more.
Give it to me.
Let's not forget the Bullet. Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry, before we move on, let's not forget the Bullet Club curse, though.
Yeah,
with Jay White, the Bullet Club curse. Every leader eventually has the run of their career, loses to a babyface, gets ousted, and Evil and a few other Bullet Club members are going to start circling Jay White like sharks. There's already been dissension in the ranks, particularly from Evil and a couple of others. We might see something go down here. If Jay White may end up getting the Prince Devitt, the AJ Styles, and the Kenny Omega treatment. So we'll see.
Yes, indeed. You could totally see that happening. So, Sam, and obviously we talked this morning about my sort of match of the night, grade of the night, and performer of the night. And obviously I'll relist those. It was an 8 out of 10 for me. Match of the night was Omega versus Ospreay. Performer of the night for me was Master Wato. I thought he was exceptional.
Oh, wow.
I thought he was great. So your performer of the night, match of the night, and grade of the night, please.
Right. Okay. So grade of the whole show, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I really liked it. I'm going to watch it again. I liked it so much. I know I enjoyed a pay-per-view when I go and if I watch it on stream or if I watch it for the stream, I then sit down and watch it in my own time leisurely. That's when I know I've really enjoyed a pay-per-view. I can think of SummerSlam. So match of the night, it's got to be Omega and Ospreay. I just like there was a lot of good stuff. I really liked Tama Tonga versus Karl Anderson. I really liked Okada versus White, but I can't with that match on a card. I even think it went on too long and had too many false finishes. But even with those imperfections, it was still perfect, near perfect. It was, yeah. And performer of the night, I think I have to go with Ospreay.
Yeah, I mean he was definitely his emotions in this. Like, exceptional, yeah.
I want to say Jay White, but Jay White did everything I thought he was going to do, and where the match between him and Okada was excellent. It was overshadowed a little bit by Omega and I think if the Omega and Ospreay match hadn't happened, I'd be gushing all over the Okada and Jay White match, but I can't because of that one. So here we are.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Sassy says 9.5.
Yeah,
and the performer, the Super Junior competitors. Obviously, Sassy now has a link to all the archives of New Japan. So I hope you enjoy that, Sassy. Happy to, like I say, so happy for you to watch because I know you're a huge New Japan fan. So that brings me great joy. So please do enjoy that. And
I'll be enjoying it too, Sassy. I've got it too.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. There you go. So I think incredible pay-per-view all around. Like I say, Sassy's grade there talks about obviously other people's enjoyment. We're on the camera, but speaks to the great enjoyment of our community. And obviously we had a very successful stream earlier on, in terms of views and in terms of people engaging in what we did. So thank you so much to the community for it's still growing, still climbing. So thank you so much for joining us and thank you so much for supporting us. We are a small channel. Once again, if you're coming back to this after we're done, if you can like the video, that would really help us out. If you can subscribe to the channel, that would also help us out. We're a small growing channel. We're trying to build. I truly believe we are unique in what we do. We not only have live streams, we also have interviews, we also have opinion stuff, we've got reaction videos, we've got some news things. So I truly think we're an all-rounder of a channel. We do a bit of everything. So I do believe we are unique in that. So thank you so much for your support and thank you so much for tuning into shows like this and live streams like earlier, because I was up from 5:50 a.m. and when it was, I think the stream went 6 hours and 20 minutes. So
when I saw how long it was, I was like, "Oh my lord, he's going to be tired." I thought, oh wow,
So
I was because I was in bed watching you and Dan. I'm sat in bed having my morning cup of tea. I've got my iPad like this. So it's the second time I've watched you naked today, Dom.
Thank you.
In bed,
Thank you. That means more than you realise. That means more than you realise. Thank you.
So I actually watched you this morning in bed with my wife. So there you go. While we were drinking tea.
Well, there you go.
Shall we plug WrestleSphere a little bit, just in case anyone's watching who doesn't know? So
we shall go on. Go on. You do it, mate. You do it.
Oh, okay, cool. I don't think I've done this since SmackDown a few weeks ago. Yeah, so we've got obviously a new platform launching. You might all know Dom runs Soundsphere magazine. It's a music magazine it's like Kerrang but cooler, a little bit. Do you like that? That kind of thing. It really supports upcoming bands, and we kind of want. Yes, we're going to be covering AEW and WWE and Impact, and we are talking to them right now. You better believe it. But WrestleSphere is going to be more about articles written by me, Dom, other journos we bring in, guest writers, things like that. We've also got some talented people. We're lining up for that. We've got some exclusive interviews already ready to go. Some are moving over from Soundsphere, some are brand new, and they're coming. Dom and I discussed one tonight, we're not going to tell you who it is yet, but that's super exciting, and that he's come to us with that. So that's so cool. Well, he's come to you specifically, Dom. Kerrang but cooler. Exactly, Anthony Nayland. I see you there lurking in the comments.
I think if that's Anthony, I think I think he was taking the mic, but I appreciate
he is. He's going with the K's, but
yes.
But he ain't disagreeing. So but yeah, so that's the plan. That's coming the end of this month. We're still going to be doing the whole stuff. So it's not going to interfere with that.
The live streams, the live streams aren't going anywhere. I've answered this a couple of times on Instagram and social media. The live streams are very much a Give Me a Whole thing, and will remain a Give Me a Whole thing. It's just we're taking the interviews to WrestleSphere, so we're doing it over there. So please do support us now on that if you can do. I believe I will post some links in the description for you guys to the YouTube, because that's where the interviews are going to go, certainly in that first instance. So please do subscribe if you can. We've got a few subscribers on there right now, so we need some more, so please do help us out if you can. So that's the plugging bit, but going back over this then, Sam, an incredible show. New Japan Pro Wrestling, Wrestle Kingdom 17, Mercedes Moné debuting, Okada winning that championship back, and Kenny Omega winning as well. Kenny Omega surprisingly winning, beating Ospreay and taking that belt back to AEW. What a shock! Not the biggest shock.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited because I've wanted to get excited about Kenny Omega, and I've just the whole brawl out thing has left such a bad taste in my mouth, which I've not been able to get out. And I know we've talked about it extensively, but now I might be able to move on from it. I might be able to enjoy it because I've been a huge Kenny Omega fan for a long ass time, and I want to like him, I want to love him, I want to support him. And this is sounding a little bit kinky now. So anyway, so Kenny, if you're watching, whatever.
Anthony also loves Kenny Omega. I think he's got
not as much as me, Anthony.
He's got like a harem. Kenny Omega's got a harem of dudes that just love him,
And Sassy, who knows? Watch this space. You never know what we might need to do because we've got so many things we've got to get organised, and it's going to take up a lot of hours of our life. Put it that way. But that's
it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun few months anyway, isn't it? So but guys, like I said, go back and watch the live stream. It was 6 hours and 20 minutes of my life this morning, on camera, on stream for you guys. So go back and watch that if you want sort of live commentary of the matches. This has been a review where we've gone through the favorite matches we've had, obviously. So both me and Sam agreed on Ospreay and Omega for our match of the night. You gave it an 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, and I gave it an 8, so that's not too dissimilar. Your performer that was Ospreay, and mine was Wato, one of the earlier, sort of outstanding younger guys that I enjoyed from this. I've just seen your comment, Anthony, which I'll address.
I'm taking away from that, Anthony. Borderline sexual is what I'm taking away from that.
Yeah. So, but you see, I mean, Kenny Omega is an entertainer as well, so I give him that. But Bray is the best. Bray is the best storyteller in wrestling. Let's put it that way.
He's certainly up there. He's certainly up there.
The best storyteller, I think, and best promo. think the best promo is Jake the Snake for me. But anyway, that's not what we're here. We're here to finish our review of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Wrestle Kingdom, the first ever live New Japan stream that we did. We were going to do it tonight. We were going to do it at 9 o'clock. And I am glad Sam was right. Sam was right. And Dan was right that we should have done it live. And I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
One might call him a golden lover. Yes, indeed. Yes.
I see what you did there.
Yes. Yeah. Nice. What was I saying? You put me off. What was I saying? Yeah. So you've totally thrown me.
You put me on anyway.
Well, you guys can just get together and talk about how much.
I'll see you at Dynamite. No, I won't.
Yeah. Just be. Yeah. We're all.
Just sleep.
I'm going to bed. Yeah, I'm really going to bed. We were going to do it at 9 o'clock tonight. We were going to do it here right now, and it wouldn't have been 6 hours. But I'm really glad we did. I'm really glad we did because we met some new people. We got some new subscribers today. We made some new friends. Hopefully, you'll if you're with us now or you join us later, you'll join Anthony for Dynamite right here on the Give Me a Hull Yeah Wrestling podcast in just a few hours. Thank you to everyone that joined me for New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 17, for Mercedes Moné's debut, for Okada's win, for Kenny Omega's win, and all the other great stuff that happened earlier on today from, I think, 6:20 a.m. UK time, right the way through to half past midday, I think it was, maybe a little bit closer to 1 p.m. when we finished up. So thank you so much. The longest stream I think I did. I think I've ever done. And thank you, Anthony, for that lovely comment. Good luck tonight for Dynamite. Do enjoy it. Hopefully, Anthony always does. I hope you guys all enjoy Dynamite with Anthony. Sam, I hope you enjoy your bedtime. We like I say, I'll see you Friday. I believe you're back for SmackDown. We're back for SmackDown to find out what the next phase of this Uncle Howdy Bray Wyatt stuff is. Thank you for being here for us. Thank you for your wonderful support of myself and Sam on the SmackDown streams. We've loved that, and thank you again for a wonderful New Japan stream today where we met some new people and made some new friends. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Dom. That's Sam. That was our New Japan Wrestle Kingdom review, Wrestle Kingdom 17 review. Sam, is there anything I've missed? Is there anything that you would think I should add to or anything you want to plug before we finish up?
Mate, I've done all the plugging I need to do, so I've done that. But yeah, if you're any of the new fans, follow Give Me a Hull Yeah, follow Soundsphere, follow WrestleSphere, follow us all of those things on Twitter as well, because we never shut up. It's great.
Yeah, there you go.
Final plug from me.
There you go. We got our Twitters there if you want to give us a follow. Yeah, brilliant. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Tune in a few hours for Anthony's AEW Dynamite. And we are getting out of here to go to bed. So I'll do the countdown for those that come back to this and don't know who we are and what we do. We do a countdown from 5, and then we do Hull Yeah with some jazz hands while I figure out the outro. So, guys, I'll see you soon. Me and Sam will see you on Friday. Anthony will see you tonight. And that's it from us. See you later. Hull Yeah. Oh, no, wait. I haven't done the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hull Yeah! Hull Yeah! Hull Yeah! Where's the thing? I've got it wrong. I'm on the wrong bit.
Everyone's getting a good look at my wedding ring.
Hello, welcome, and give me a hell yeah. Give me a whole yeah. Give me a whole yeah. From the Spanish god, Sammy Guevara. Cheers to everyone watching in Yorkshire and beyond. Hope you guys have a great day from the Spanish god. Shout out to Dom. Shout out to Anthony. You guys are smart because you're fans of me. And anyways, have a great day.